Stephanie, we can see your lips moving, but we can't hear you.
How about
now? Yep, now we can definitely hear you.
Oh,
I'm sure, goodness. I hope we didn't miss any of that lovely stuff you said. We just saw your lips moving.
Well, I was just welcoming everyone and thanking them for taking time to join us today and letting you know that I'm going to record the session so that anyone on your team or if you get called away, we will have the recording available. So you can go back and listen again if you need to. But as always, if you have any questions about the training or any of the content within it, feel free to reach out to myself or Joe. Joe's going to help me out today, make sure that we cover everything that we need to talk about for Canvas and Gesso. But before we do that, I am going to ask Paula to go through some of the changes to the Canvas and Gesso price lists because they have been reconfigured in a way that I personally think is going to make it a lot easier for you guys as well as our customers to find what you're looking for and understand the options available on everything. So Paula, you want to run through some enhancements to the price list?
Sure. As many of you are already aware, Jennifer and I have been on a major mission to get all of our price list transitioned into a new format, into a different software. This will allow us more control and cost savings moving forward. And with that, we had the opportunity to make some changes in the format, layout, et cetera. Also, we wanted to ensure as Canvas and Gesso continue to grow, that we were better telling the story. And again, keep in mind that our price lists are always going to be dynamic. We're always going to be adding where we can and trying to beef up information for the customer as well as each of you so that it's easier to specify the furniture at the end of the day. But some of the things that did take place, you'll find that Jennifer has separated the Canvas and Gesso price list almost into buckets. So it was easier to see where the height adjustable units begin, where the studio components begin, where the modular components. So you'll start to see, if you haven't already looked at the price list, you'll see that there are some story pages that have been inserted in some of those sections to try to help the customer and all of us understand where one component stops and the next component begins, even though they all work together. In addition to that, we've beefed up the information at the front end, at the overview, and also try to take another look at the bullet points where possible to ensure that we have all the necessary information. Danelle and Stephanie and Joe have been a big help with trying to add and just give us some additional information as well as the engineers in providing that on that as well. You'll also see with Canvas and Gesso that each model has its own must specify in this order section, helping the customer understand exactly how to specify that unit and what will be necessary on it. So again, overall, just trying to provide enough information and the right information for everybody to get an accurate specification. Jennifer, did I forget anything? I know this was your blood, sweat, and tears over the last 6-8 months, maybe 10 years. It's been a while.
It feels like 10 years. I haven't slept much in the past month and a half. You cut out a little bit, so I'm not positive as to what I missed. But there's definitely been a lot of changes. We've definitely changed the flow a little bit of a few things, tried to move things around so that they're not so much together in terms of, for instance, a support, but if they go with the height adjustable, we moved it to the height adjustable. If it goes with low credenzas, we moved it to go with low credenzas. So we tried to do a little bit of a map slash table of contents for the statement of line in hopes that that would help you guys. But it's definitely going to be a learning process. I would highly recommend whenever you are looking for something to just do Control F, and that allows you to search that PDF document for anything that you're looking for, be it a description, a model number, something like that. So, and you can always contact me or Paula or any of us to ask any questions. But yeah, it's a work in progress.
And you will continue to be. So we understand that you will find an error. There's a lot of information there and there's a lot to cover. We know that you will find some. I think somebody actually already has. Thank you for sending it to us. As you see something, as I mentioned the other day, say something, we'll get it changed. It's really critical to understand those. If you see anything incorrect or inaccurate now, because we have the opportunity in the short future, the next few days, to change it for the printed price lists that are coming out in August. So the more we can find now, the better those printed price lists are going to be.
Wonderful. Thank you, ladies. I personally thought that it was easier to build the training with the price list in the order that it's in today. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
Can I ask something? Where is
Sure.
this at online? On our website? Where is the supplement on our website? Because it's not on the standard.
It's on the product pages, Canvas and Gesso product pages.
So it's not on the resource pages like we have the Arlington supplement?
Not yet, because we
Okay.
knew there with this training, there could be some possible changes.
Okay.
So
thank
I
you.
plan on making any changes that we find and posting it to the website on the resources page
Okay.
after this training.
All right. Thanks.
Uh-huh.
All right. Can everyone see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is everything today that we're going to cover is Canvas and Gesso because it's, but they're basically the exact same thing, only different materials, as we know. We're not going to do two separate trainings and tell you the exact same thing. So everything that applies to Canvas is also going to apply to Gesso. So just keep that in mind as we move through the training today. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is the new integrated height adjustable pieces. So the design on these models has changed. They have updated the subtop. Now, there will still be sort of a top there that will cover the pedestals like it always has. It's just a different design. And because of that, we've been able to eliminate some of those pinch points that were there before. We were also able to eliminate sort of a complicated part that was included with this design. And because of that, we were also able to reduce the price on these sit-to-stand units. In addition to that, before, whenever you would want to make a standard model into a sit-to-stand, you would add STS to the end of the model number and then add the upcharge on. That is no longer the case. Moving forward, every height adjustable model will have its own model number, and then it will have the price for that model associated with it in the price list. And that's where what Paula and Jen were talking about come into play, where that the price list, all the height adjustable stuff is together, all the studio stuff is together, just really making it easier to figure out what parts and pieces you can make into height adjustable. Another design change that happened with the integrated sit-to-stand is that the cylinders that cause the unit to go up and down have been moved out as well as in a little bit. So the image that you're seeing on your handout and on the screen now is based upon a 72-inch wide unit. So you can see there that in the past, those cylinders were just a little under 30 inches apart. So they were in that knee space area. By pushing those out and then also bringing them in closer to the center of the desk, The surface is a little bit less cantilevered, so it's going to go up and down a little bit better, future state, and it increases that knee and foot space for the customer. We also have added the ability to do 2 work surfaces lifting simultaneously, so we'll look at that today. A moving modesty panel will be available, so we'll look at that. And then we've also added the ability to do height adjustable on D and P top units. So just a lot more versatility with all of these new enhancements that were made to the line. Okay, control switches. We're upgrading the control switches as well. So when a customer specifies a sit to stand unit now, it's automatically going to come with a standard up and down switch, okay? They have the option to do an upgraded switch if they prefer. So the upgraded switch is going to give them memory functions, a stand-up reminder. There's also Bluetooth capabilities with a free app that they can use from their phone. Sorry, my mouse is acting weird today. My apologies. And in that app, it's going to tell them like how many calories they've burned. So it's got a lot of really cool features. So in the past, the memory switch, if they wanted that, was a separate unit. So they would actually have 2 units on the desk, and they were essentially paying for 2 units. If they do the advanced up and down now, they'll just have the advanced switch. And so they're only paying the upcharge to have that one switch available for future. And that switch is going to be factory installed on everything but what you see listed there. And the main reason for that is just because we don't necessarily know exactly where the customer is going to want to put those switches, if you have a right-handed or a left-handed user. So this way they'll be able to install those based on the user's needs. Did I forget anything on the switches there, Joe? Is there anything you want to add to that?
Since we did eliminate the subtop for the most part, as some of you may know, we did used to mount the switch directly underneath the subtop of the unit. Now this is going to have it's going to have a separate bracket that goes along with the switch. So just so you know that the switch will be mounted onto a bracket. And the bottom right, you can kind of see a little bit there. I'm going to annotate here. Right here, I'm circling. That is where the switch is located on this particular unit. That's how it gets mounted.
Cool.
We'll still be able to enter the old memory switch as a separate model number if needed, though, correct?
Yes, because it's also, this is unrelated to this, but KI is using all the same old stuff. So
Yeah, that's why I was asking. Thank you.
Yep.
Joe was also telling me earlier when we were talking about this that it has a stand-up reminder. So for those of you who have like a fitness watch where it reminds you to stand up after so much time, the advanced up and down switch will do the same thing. The green light will turn a different color to kind of remind you to stand up. So that's kind of a cool feature. And I think the upcharge for that, you'd have to check the price list to be sure, but I think it's around $90 for the upgrade for that. So not a lot of money for customers to have that convenience.
Yeah, the other thing I mentioned to these new switches, they're really a lot more sophisticated and more elegant and just a better option. It's something that our height adjustable cylinder manufacturer they released a couple of years ago. It's just a better option.
$92 list.
Thank you. I thought it was around 90. Okay, so then the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the 2 different options for lifting. So these are broken into 2 different categories. So there's a 2-channel option, which the way I put it together in my mind is 2 legs that go up and down, and then a 3-channel option, which is 3 legs that go up and down. And that's how you know the difference between it just lifting one surface or lifting two surfaces. One surface requires the 2-channel option, and that's the standard height adjustable option that's going to come on all of your desks. Then there's an upgrade that, or not necessarily an upgrade, but an option to do a 3-channel in order to tie that desk to a return that can go up and down with it. Now, with that being said, I'm going to jump to this next slide. So you'll see here that if you were to go through the price list page by page, you would see that there are height adjustable returns on the page before this page, on page 178. Those are for the returns that are 2-channel. So those are the ones where the customer just wants the return to go up and down independently, not necessarily tied to a desk. If they want the 2 desks or the 2 units to go up and down together, they need to choose one of these 3-channel for 2 work surfaces. You see they're highlighted there as their return. Okay, then on the desk itself, whether it's a single ped, a D-top, or a P-top, they're going to choose the optional 3-leg channel configuration. And I pulled from page 71 of the price list where you can see here, that is a no charge option. So they can switch that single ped desk from raising independently to raising simultaneously with the correct return by simply telling us they want the STS3 option instead of the STS2.
Is
Hey,
that
Joe,
only
correct
for
me.
oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also have that note on single ped credenzas as well. It's not just for desks.
That's correct.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize credenzas could do that too. Thank you.
Yeah. It's unlikely
A lot of information.
unlikely they would, but you know, we've been surprised before.
So if they did a single bed ped credenza, that would be associated with a bridge. Usually, I mean, obviously those normally attach to a bridge. So
Yep. Usually yes, but we added the options because it's a possibility.
so anytime they're ordering something that ends in a 3, something on another unit needs to have that STS3 selected. Is that correct?
Say that again.
So any model number they're ordering that ends in a 3, there's going to be another model number on that order where we would need to pick the option within that unit to have the STS3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
And you
yes.
can see here, Tammy, these are the returns that would tie in with that.
Yeah.
So there is an STS2 return. We just want to make sure that they're using the 3 if they want it to go up and down as 2 surfaces together, as an L, basically.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we know on the other unit, like in this case on the desk, to pick that STS3 versus what pulls in as standard. Thank
Right.
you.
Right. Absolutely.
I want to point something else out to Roger and some of the other folks, is that that is a difference. We say 3-channel, 2-channel, like that option drives a different box electronic control that makes it work with 3 cylinders. So just so you know that if you'd ever have someone, you couldn't take an existing desk that was ordered as a 2-channel configuration and use it and buy one of these 3-channel returns and make it go up and down. You have to have that box to make it do that.
Okay. Any questions on the 2-channel versus the 3-channel? And I will tell you guys that, again, the way the price list is laid out now, I think it makes it a lot easier to understand exactly what everything will do and what connects to what. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the new price list yet, please do that, because I think that that's going to really help you kind of see how everything can connect together. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about, and I'm going to move to the next slide in a second, but just before I do, you can see right above the optional 3-channel leg configuration, there's the optional moving modesty. So this is new as well. So what this does is it allows a customer to have the modesty panel attached to the underside of the work surface, and it will move up and down with the work surface, whether it's in the seated or the standing height position. Now, a couple of things about that. First of all, it's not factory installed, but it will be shipped with the product if they say they want that. And then Joe wanted me to let you guys know that that is a post and cam connection. So that will be connected in the field with post and cam for the installers to do. So basically the same construction method as what we have on everything else.
So I'm assuming there's been additional install instructions added to the website for things like that, and updated install instructions for the height adjustable installation.
We've added several additional assembly instructions to the website. If there's something out there that you don't see and you feel like you're going to need, then please let Joe or myself or Brett know so that we can get those created.
Okay, thank you.
How does that work if they pick a high gloss acrylic modesty?
It's not available on high gloss. I was just about to mention that. I'm actually going to put that in the price list. I put it in Gesso, but I just realized I did not put it in Canvas.
Okay.
The high gloss acrylic is not available for moving.
And Tammy, to add on to your question about the assembly instructions, the moving modesty is not out there yet, but the other ones have been added. Originally, the moving modesty was going to be installed with the unit, so it didn't need instructions, but we've since decided not to install that before it ships. So it will need a separate instruction, and Brett is working on that.
Thank you.
The install instructions have been created. They just may not have made the website yet.
Okay.
Okay. So right before this meeting, Joe and I met, so we may need to find out for sure about the high gloss acrylic on the moving modesty panel. He thought was available.
Yeah, I was out last week and there was a email string going on about that. I thought we added that. Is that the case, Brett?
High gloss acrylic was added to the standard, the height adjustable desk and single ped desk units, but not that moving modesty.
Yeah, it's available in the knee space of the step desks only.
Okay. That's what I thought. I thought something else had changed today whenever he said that. So I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
So it's not available with a moving modesty, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
But it is available if they just want a regular step desk with an height adjustable work surface. If they don't want the modesty to move with it, they can still get it as a high gloss acrylic. And then the part or the model that's listed there, bridge return support connection. So this was created because the subtop was re-engineered. So in the past, you could connect a static height bridge or return to a height adjustable sit to stand without having an additional part. But with the change in the top, this is now required if you're going to connect a height adjustable desk to a static return or bridge. And it is sold separately. It will be a separate part that has to be specified in order for that connection to happen.
So I just want to reiterate, before we didn't have to specify this because there was stuff that was sent along with the units to attach to the subtop, but now the small ones in L group need to make sure they order this support connection.
All right. And then next up, we've made some changes to the wire management options within the height adjustable models. So the desk models will include a grommet in the false ped area. So on a single ped desk, it would be on the side with no ped. And that'll be in one location like you see it here. Then on credenzas, bridges, and returns, it's an optional grommet, and they must specify that if they want it. So it will not come included like it will on desk models. And that is stated in the price list with each model as well.
Yeah, I'll say something on this here, Stephanie, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So a lot of what the height adjustable changes was really based off of customer feedback and from our specials team. This was one of the things that we were asked often about is wire access to the walls. So if someone wants to plug their stuff in, now there's an optional grommet on these units that could potentially be up against the wall or whatever. So that was one of the things on that. So it's a new option.
Do they have a choice of where they want that, or is it just standard based on the unit?
On what you see here on the two left units, the credenza and the return, it's going to be in the center of the cabinet. And on the 3-channel configuration unit with the single leg, as you see there, that one's going to be in that cabinet there behind the ped.
So they don't get an option for the location. They just pick the
No,
grommet.
yeah, correct, yeah.
Okay. And then the next thing that happened is we've added a new mesh wrap. Whoops, sorry. A new mesh wrap for the wire management when a grommet is selected. This is replacing the vertebrae that we had previously. And that's shown on the next page with the red line through it. So the vertebrae is no longer available. This mesh wrap will now be the solution. Then we feel like this is a much better solution. But the wire management box is going to remain. And that is if the customer chooses the power data port option. So the bezel units in the center location.
Question came up, can you still get vertebrae for KI? Yes, you can. So nothing changed as far as vertebrae is still available for KI for those that are wondering that.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I'll say one other thing too on the vertebrae is the vertebrae, it was good while it lasted, but some of you may actually have had, I think Sherry used to have a vertebrae in her desk. We've had some issues with it in the past as far as fitting and so we went with the simple wire mesh. It's not as quote pretty as a vertebrae, but it really serves its function well. It's very cost effective and functional. So that's why we went with that.
Awesome. And then just as a customer convenience, we've added these latch duct wire management channels and a grommet so that they can manage the wires from the switch and the control box for the height adjustable units. There's going to be some cords in there. So to easily manage those wires, these will be included. So one latch duct wire management channel will be included with almost all of the units, and then 2 will be included with desk shells. So that's just automatically going to come with it. They do not have to specify that separately. Just wanted you to know that is going to come with it. And I'm pretty sure I saw installation instructions for that already out on the website. So those should be out there in case you have installers with questions. Okay, so that is everything for all of the new height adjustable options. The next thing we're going to talk about are the new glass door options. So we now have black and white back painted glass door options. These will have a thin aluminum frame around each door. So there is a frame holding those glass doors on. And these are the models that those are available on. So as you can see here, lots of hutch options, as well as some bookcase and tower options as well. So basically it's anywhere they can get a high gloss acrylic today. For the most part, they can get it with the glass doors. And it states it on every model within the price list. And just want to point out that they can write on these doors with like dry erase markers, but these doors are not magnetic. Okay, so keep that in mind as we move through to the next thing I'm going to talk about. And here is an image for you so you can kind of see how those white glass doors look. I've got another image of the black coming up in a few slides, but just a little bit of a reflection, really pretty. Okay, so I mentioned that the doors are non-magnetic, but you can write on them. The next thing we have are magnetic glass back painted marker boards. So these are not only magnetic, but you can also write on them. And there are lots of different configurations for these depending upon the setup that the customer is looking for. So I tried to go through with each individual model and show you where it's available, the sizes that it's available in, and then what other series it's compatible with. So as you can see here for the wall mount hutch above a low credenza, these are available from 30 to 108 wide. And you can also put these on iconic models, those low storage models with iconic. Same thing with the surface mount hutches. Those you can also do with iconic, Allegiance, and Encompass. So these will be noted in the price lists as well, letting you know that those will line up with those other series. Now, the question might be, okay, well, what about if a series isn't listed? Well, you could possibly use it with another series. Just know that it may not line up exactly right. So Joe was kind of saying if the marker board was maybe going to be one of these that goes to the floor and maybe on the different side of the room where it doesn't matter if it lines up exactly, that's perfectly fine. But if they're looking for something that's going to line up exactly, each of these is going to line up with the series listed only. And then if they're wanting something very special, of course, we can always do that through customs.
Do these always ship separate? They won't be factory installed like on surface mount hutches?
They do ship separate, yes.
And then I have a image of the black one here that you can see. It's very pretty. We also have magnets that are available for these. So the magnets will be available in black and white, as well as markers and erasers. And they'll just order those separately, just depending upon the customer's needs if they want to get those. So they won't come necessarily with the marker boards, they'll be a separate item.
Also, the glass doors and the marker boards have a slightly longer lead time on them.
Oops.
And also, they're not set up in Insight. So if we get an order for it, we have to copy engineering.
Yes. Another thing too is if someone wants like for the black glass, there's a model number set up for like the black markers used for the black glass and the white for the white glass. You can't use the white marker board markers for a black glass, you won't be able to see it, vice versa. So there's separate model numbers for each type of glass.
So the color of the markers coincide with the color of the board, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's sold separately. As well as magnets, we have white magnets, pack of 5, and black magnets, a pack of 5, that are set up as accessories as well.
Doug had some pricing on his spreadsheet, but I couldn't find those items in the price list, the magnets.
I'm just now realizing that as well, Angie.
Okay.
So I will work on that. I got the markers, but I don't have the magnets in there.
You know, I was just thinking, I don't think I put those on spec tools either, because, you know, they were an afterthought, and I had already submitted everything to both CET and 2020. So I'm going to have to go back and add those.
All right. Okay, the next thing that we have that's new is a brushed gold studio pool. So this kind of follows the residential trend that's happening with gold coming back in metal finishes. So this will be available not only on Canvas and Gesso case goods, but also on Canvas and Gesso, or Canvas Reception and Canvas and Gesso Conference. So if somebody wants to add those to Conference Solutions or any of the reception pieces, they will be able to do that. Now, the one thing you may notice is that there's not a studio leg in gold. So there's not a studio leg in gold today. I think the idea is that the customer could utilize that with a black leg. So keep that in mind, that if they are looking for a gold leg, that's not something we have today in our standard.
So if they order the gold pull, Brett, they get a black cloth, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And then drawer options, you might recognize this from Iconic. So this is sort of the same idea as Iconic. The standard drawers will be the miter fold that we use in pretty much everything. And then they'll be able to do a dovetail as an upgrade. And then the track options will be our standard full extension glides, but they can also do that soft close drawer like they can in Iconic as an upgrade. The only thing to remember is, just like Iconic, you cannot do the soft close on lateral drawers. So that's available on box and file drawers only. And then some new metal support options. So you'll notice here that we've added 5 new options in black, including that O-leg. The O-leg that used to be available in chrome has been discontinued, but they can get it in black now. So we still have 2 options. And then the other thing I want to point out is that the black and aluminum, pricing are the same, and the chrome is a separate price point. So just be conscious of that in the price list when you're looking for pricing. And then the last thing we have is new work surface options. So this is in response to some bids and contracts that are out there. We needed to have an option for a 1.5 inch thick work surface. So you can now do 1.5 inch HPL in Canvas and 1.5 inch HPL and veneer in Gesso. So when a customer wants that, you'll notice in the price list that it says to contact customer service for pricing and lead times. So what we're going to do for now is run that through as a special quote in order for us to be able to get these on this as an option on those contracts and on those bid opportunities sooner rather than later. That's how we're going to do it for now. And then eventually we'll get where it's just a standard option. So whenever customer service, if you get calls for that or emails for that, you'll just work with the specials team like you have in the past for anything else that's been set up like that from the get-go. And that's it. That's everything on the Canvas and Gesso enhancements. Does anyone have any questions?
Can I share the lead time, Stephanie?
Sure.
Okay, standard units will, and this is based on, I'm hearing an echo, sorry. This is based on I don't know where we are this week on Canvas yet. Laminate. I assume all these set to stand units, are they built at both Flatline and Du Bois or only Flatline?
It's currently still set up for just flatline.
Okay. So just keep that in mind, what are processing when you're keying any units that end in the STS. Standard units will be 4 weeks. Units with glass doors will be 6 weeks. And glass marker boards will be 5 weeks. We need to 007 the first 5 sit to stand and the first 5 glass orders. So if you get orders for glass doors or glass marker boards, we'll need to copy engineering, but I don't, Dennis, are you on here?
I am.
I don't think that should fall under our specials. So who do we get that information to when we copy engineering?
When it comes to the glass doors, get those to me, and we're going to treat those like we do the Parsons tables for 110. So we'll get those turned around within 48 hours, as long as it doesn't fall on a Friday or something like that. But that's the plan.
And if you're out, who should we give it to? Brett?
I'd say go to Brett Fund. He's most familiar with it.
Amy, would you repeat the lead time for the doors and marker boards, please? I want to make sure I have it noted right.
Yes, the glass doors are 6 weeks and the marker boards are 5 weeks.
Thank you.
And I will check with Chad to see if these sit to stand fall under our sit to stand capacity rules. I don't think they will, but I want to double check that.
Brett, can you point us to where the instructions are for the latch duct wire management? Where are those listed on the install instructions?
I think I show it when we show the attachment of the return to the standard, to a standard desk, or when we have the 3 legs set up. It's really just an image showing where it is. All it is an adhesive. You just stick it to the back panel wherever honestly the customer prefers, but it just shows an image of it being attached to the back panel. There's
So
not really a whole lot to it.
Does it just stick on and then it's a plastic channel that the wires run through?
Exactly.
So do you think they're the same things that are the 01 wire managers in conferencing that stick to the underside of conference tables, and then the channel, it's a channel that the wires run through? Is it the same thing?
It's similar.
Okay, similar but not same. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a couple things I'd like to say. So the one thing that this edition will really take us to is before with Canvas and Gesso, we really couldn't do an upscale type of aesthetic. But with the glass, if you look at all those background image, is that really kind of really shows. I mean, yeah, it's you can really take Canvas and Gesso and really put it upscale to those offices that we haven't been able to do before. So that's the whole thing with it. And you know, it'll take us to be able to compete with like Gunlock, Solia, the National Waveworks, some of their upscale stuff, and some of these other opportunities that we haven't been able to go. So, and the last thing I'd like to mention is like I was mentioning earlier, is a lot of this came from a lot of feedback from all of you guys and from some of our reps and this and that. So keep the feedback coming because we get some really good ideas from that.
I have a question. Since the current sit to stand options will remain available for KI as a standard, I assume that we could enter those for anyone else as well until something changes with that.
Yeah.
Okay. And just a reminder for everybody, you know, we throw that word KI out often. But again, a reminder that we would never have that discussion with reps or anybody else in the field. The fact that KI is getting that product from us should never leave our mouths or these walls. So really just a reminder for all of us to remember that. Like if somebody asked us if that's still available, we would never say, oh yeah, we still do it for KI, so we can do it for you. So just a reminder for us.
Awesome. So the only other thing I want to let you guys know is that I will be sending out the notice to the sales team here in just a few minutes. There was a few things that I wanted to add to the training before I send it to them. They're doing training on Wednesday. If you'd like to sit in, you're welcome to. The invite's going to go out to everyone that gets the weekly email from me on Thursdays, but you're not required to sit in on this. It'll be the same training. So it's totally up to you. This has also been recorded, so it'll be available if anyone needs to listen again, or if there's anyone on your team that was unable to listen today. And as always, if you have any questions, please let anyone on our team or Joe's team know.
I just wanted to quickly mention that we put the images out last week before we had all the pricing out and stuff like that. But Kathy Cherry got some orders from it without even having all of that information. So it's super exciting. And obviously people are noticing that we're doing some new, fresh, exciting things.
Yay.
Always be closing, Kathy.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your Monday.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stephanie. Hey.
Yeah.
I tell you, I want to. Can we do another Zoom on the other training that we're going to do?
Yeah. You want to just do it right now?
Yeah, I would stop recording this.
Oh, yeah. Let me do that.
I have a